What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Monday acne video. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video than you're used to. It's not going to be any advice or anything to fix your acne, but rather just something that might be able to connect with a few of you, make you feel a bit more at ease and comfortable about your own acne, and hopefully bring you a little bit of confidence and motivation to attack the day, even with the cysts or acne or blackheads that you have on your face. Now, this first part of the story, you might have heard in another video of mine called The First Time That Acne Made Me Cry, but there's more to this. So I'm just going to go through that to kind of give you guys an understanding of how I started getting acne. And that was at 15 years old. I had started getting those little red marks, I started getting those whiteheads, just the typical normal acne, right, that you're expecting to get. You know, even sometimes you're excited, you were waiting for the time that you were gonna hit puberty and get acne. And then over the months after that, I started developing very large nodular cysts on my face. I would have 3 or 4 at a time, legitimately at any time. I would wake up, go to the mirror, and there'd be 2, 3, 4 cysts on my face, and they would stick around for an extremely long time. 1, 2, 3 months. I've had certain little cysts that would stick around for 6 months and leave a very discolored area around it. But I remember one of the worst things that people would do was they would call you specific nicknames, and I know a lot of you guys realize this and a lot of you guys have been called this before, but the one that people would always call me was Rudolph. And the reason they call me Rudolph was because I would get cysts and they would be in the very same specific situations and places. So for me, I would always get a big cyst on my nose that would be very pressurized, very large, and very red. So obviously it was very easy to come up with that nickname. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have dealt with them before. Also Pizza Face and Crater Face and a couple other ones, but Rudolph was my name. Now, the most difficult day that I dealt with my acne ever was junior year in high school. And I remember showing up on campus, and as soon as I walked onto campus, the first thing that I heard, the first person that spoke to me just immediately called me Rudolph. From there, I went to my next class, and I was supposed to give a speech in that class. So I remember walking up to the front of the class, and as I was walking up, I could already hear people whispering about my acne. And as I'm standing there in front of 35 kids about to address them and try to connect with them and, you know, say what I'm supposed to say for my project, I remember looking at people whispering about me, and I can still hear them. I have great hearing, so I could hear them saying things about zits or cysts or look at his blackheads. And I remember it was just so difficult because it was so heartless, you know. I understand now that people just didn't have perspective. They didn't have something they were going through that was hard, so it was very easy to pick on somebody else. But I just remember at the time I didn't understand that, and it was very difficult. I remember after that class, after I got through that speech, I was so excited to finally be done with that class, right, and get out of that environment. So I was excited to see my friends for lunch. I went over to my little group, and my best friend at the time, I remember my best friend came up and just booped me right on the nose, right on the cyst, just flicked it. I don't know why he did it. I'm sure it was just to be funny, right? It was just like a joke or whatever, but I don't think he understood, you know, what that meant to me, because I just got through the rest of the day. I was so stoked that school was over, and I went to my car, and I wasn't expecting any of this stuff. I just went to my car, and I was like, finally, the day is over. Like, let's go home, right? And I remember sitting in my car, and I just started bawling. I just started tearing up, and I couldn't even control it. It was just like involuntary, you know what I mean? And I remember out of all of the days that I've dealt with acne, or all the days that I've dealt with, you know, certain situations that were really difficult, where, you know, you'd have a cyst that was leaking or something and people pointed it out to you or whatever it was, I remember that was the day that resonated with me the most, that stuck with me, and it was so difficult, and it was something that I could retell, and like even right now, you can tell I get emotional about it because I can relive it so easily. So as the months and the years progressed after that situation, my acne was getting more and more severe. I was getting more and more cysts, to the point that my face was just covered. The entire thing was pressurized, and those of you who have actually dealt with severe acne know what I'm talking about. Your whole face is so pressurized that, you know, like laying down on a pillow hurts. You know what I'm saying? You washing your face like you're supposed to with a pad or with your hands in the shower, whatever it is, that hurts. Things would be bleeding because you'd smile. And I remember I was hoping that as I was getting older, other people were getting older, we were all kind of reaching an adult age. So I was hoping that as people were getting older, they become more caring and empathetic and understanding, or at least more reserved when it came to, you know, making fun of it or speaking about it or telling me that I'm doing things wrong. But I remember it got worse because people were more opinionated. They had more things to say. And I remember people would constantly inundate me with, you're dirty, or you don't wash your face enough, or your hygiene's not good, or you're not changing your pillowcase enough, or you're gross, or whatever it is. I remember people would legitimately, and this was the difficult thing, is I'm a young man, and I'm trying to I'm trying to develop my passions, right? And so I'm trying to develop the things that I want to do for the rest of my life. So I'm bodybuilding and I'm personal training. And at the same time, I'm making videos to help people with their fitness, and I'm making videos to help people with their acne. And the entire time, the whole thing is centered around my acne. That's not what my intentions were. That's not what I wanted. I wanted people to pay attention to the videos about fitness and how to lose fat, or I wanted people to pay attention to, my bodybuilding, or I wanted people to pay attention to my stories about acne to help other people or whatever. But I remember everything was about how my acne was so bad and what I could do and what they thought I was doing wrong. And I remember a lot of people, this is the funniest thing to me, is just that like a lot of people would leave comments in my videos and would say, your face grosses me out, it disgusts me, you should feel ashamed or you should feel bad for putting this up because I'm eating breakfast or whatever it was. And it's people they just don't have the perspective. And the reason I can't hate people who do that kind of thing, who make fun of you for your acne or for whatever situation, is I understand that not everybody is there yet. Maybe that person who makes fun of you for your acne now, in 4 years from now, deals with their own acne situation and then becomes the most empathetic and caring person in the world. Who knows, right? So I can't just hate somebody from the start. I have to kind of understand that maybe they'll come to that point where they understand and they start growing empathy, and maybe they'll never get there. But maybe I just don't like to hate people very much. But I just remember that was very, very difficult, that I was putting all this effort in to try and make myself, but every single time I was being shot down because no one was paying attention to what I was doing. They were paying attention to my face and how gross it was and what I should do to fix it and how they didn't want to see it anymore. That being said, at the same time as having all this negativity around me, I wasn't just surrounded and depressed by all these people. I had so many good people as well. I had my family, I had my best friends who stuck around me for years. Not that best friend who hit me with the cyst, but my true best friends who have been best friends with me since 6 years old, still best friends with me nowadays. Those people never cared. They really never cared. They would offer advice if I asked for it, or we could talk about it because I wanted to bring it up, but they would never be like, oh man, I don't really want you to come out with me on that double date because I don't really want to. It was nothing like that. They would just look right past it and actually interact with me. And that's something that I think we all get kind of drowned in the negativity, right? So you have hundreds of people telling you good things and being nice to you and stuff, but then we as a human race tend to focus and magnify the negative one, that one comment, that one thing that somebody said, that one negative remark, that sticks with us throughout the day. Not the 10 people that said, you're looking great today, or liking new shoes. So it was incredibly nice to have that support system, that very small amount of people that I knew would just honestly didn't care about it. And I was still dealing with all this negativity and stuff. But what I will say is that now that I'm clear, now that I'm 24 years old, and this started when I was 15 years old, I would never go back. If a genie popped up and asked me, would you go back and would you live life without the acne that you had? I would never go back and live my life without the acne that I had. And I think that's honestly the beautiful thing that has come out of this whole thing. I used to despise, I used to hate, I used to just wonder why this acne was happening to me, what I did to deserve this kind of acne and this hardship and like just all this negativity and bullying. But I didn't realize, because I didn't have hindsight. I hadn't gone through it yet. I wasn't able to look at it from afar. All that bullying, all that negativity, all that everything that I had to deal with, it developed my personality in such a way that I don't think I ever would have reached where I've reached now, because it built such an empathy and such a care towards other people with any sort of situation, even in a situation that I don't understand, especially people with situations that I understand, because I understand that the people who are making fun of me didn't understand my acne. And if you're going through something that's not even acne related, that's the hardest thing for you in the world, whether it's small or big, I understand that it is the center of your life. It is what people bring up to you every day. It is what you think of when you wake up, when you go to bed. And having that empathy and having that care has built my love for human beings, like my love for interacting with people and caring for people and trying to help people so much. And for that, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I would never go back and take my acne away. And I think that's also one of the best ways to not only clear up my acne, but to really beat and destroy acne, is that I am appreciative of the acne. Like if acne was a person and we could tell that person, you know what I mean? It would be so cool to walk up to him and be like, you know what? Back in the day when you used to beat up on me, thank you. I appreciate you. And just watch what acne does. So that's the video. I just wanted to go through how I started getting acne, how it affected me, and then the most difficult day, and then how it also continued on past high school. And not in any way to make you feel nervous about your acne or to make you kind of scared about what's to come, or to make you feel like you're never going to get out of this whole bullying situation. More so to tell you that what you're going through right now will make you such a rich person inside of you. It'll make you such a valuable person, and it'll bring so much to your life that you would have never gotten. So if anything, take solace in the fact that you're going to be a better person than you ever would have been if you didn't have acne, or if you didn't have that hardship or that difficult thing that you're going through right now. It is 100% going to pay off, even though at the moment it feels like you're in a dungeon that you just can't get out. You're in a pit, in a dark hole. I understand it's depressing, it's really hard, but what I'm telling you is that it gets better and it builds you. As long as you push yourself to build yourself through your hardship, it will make you a better person. That's the video. That's all I wanted to say, and I'm really hoping that this video can help some people out. I think these kind of videos are very helpful. I remember looking up stuff like this when I was going through my acne, and a few other things that really helped when people would just open themselves up and be very transparent. Maybe even slightly emotional. But yeah, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, whether that's, you know, about my story, or if it's you telling your story, or possibly reaching out to other people who were in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure that you subscribe to it. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die MIRIN.
Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die MIRIN.